Hey, what's up guys and gals? Rick9G here. Thank you for joining me. Here we go guys and gals. We're nearing the end of these fact sheets. Farming Simulator 17 is going to come out in a few days at the time of this video release. So just letting you know. So you could be watching this after the game is released, and of course this is still all the equipment in case you want to know, in case you don't have the game. So let's take a look at this. We're looking at the top photo here. We're looking at the Case IH Magnum CVX. Now, of course, this is a tractor. This is on the expensive side. You can see in the photo, kind of in the middle right, you can see there's crawler tracks on the side, on the back of the tractor. So that's kind of cool. It is expensive. It is 332,000 euros for this tractor. Maintenance is 480 euros a day, which is pretty hefty and pretty up there. Power range, though, you have a good choice of selections. You can choose 301 kilowatts or 320 kilowatts, and in horsepower you can choose 409 all the way to 435. So that's pretty cool. There are different engine specs. Max speed is 50 kilometers an hour or 31 miles an hour. Fuel capacity is almost 680 liters. Your engine is customizable, as I have just shown you, and as well as the wheels. You can choose standard, wide, crawler track, as I had discussed previously, narrow twin wheels, and wheel weights. Now, what would you use this big Bubba tractor for? Well, to pull something like what's down here. This is the Vinhuis or Vinhua, something like that. Excuse me for butchering that. Premium Integral 2. Now this is a slurry tanker, but this isn't just any slurry tanker, guys and gals. This holds 30,000 liters of slurry. That is just nuts at a price of 106,000 euros. Now don't forget, you can still use this equipment without buying it. There is the rental option. You can lease these and then use them and then kind of return them, you know, on a borrowed basis. Maintenance is 160 a day, so it is not super expensive, but it's not cheap either. Required power, you need a tractor that's at least 240 horsepower in power, and you also need a production of 177 kilowatts, so keep that in mind. Operating speed is 17 kilometers an hour or 10 miles an hour. That's when you are pulling this implement, and this slurry tanker spreads out to 30 meters, guys and gals. That's the width. How many feet is that? Because I know a lot of you want to know. You multiply that number by 3 and you get roughly 90 feet. Yes, 90 feet of width. That is nuts for huge fields. This is going to be amazing. Now the tank capacity I told you is just immense, and you can use this for fertilizer and slurry according to this. So that's kind of cool. Let me know what you guys and gals think about these two. And here we are, guys and gals, with fact sheet number 20. Now, a lot of you I know are thinking, oh, these harvesters are expensive and I'm not going to be able to afford them. Even if I rent them, they're just too expensive. Well, I want to show you this. This is the Case IH 1660 Axial Flow. This is one of the lesser expensive harvesters. 145,000 euros. Again, you can rent this, but then again, it's not that bad. It is a Case though, so I think they want to charge you a little more for that. Maintenance is 660 euros a day. That's very expensive, at least for a harvester like this. The capacity on this tank is not a lot. It's 6,340 liters. Power is 140 kilowatts or 190 horsepower. Max speed is 20 kilometers per hour, and 12 miles an hour is the max speed. Fuel capacity is 350 liters. Now, crops, you have a lot of choices from what I could see. You could see wheat, barley, sunflower, canola, and I think that's corn and soybean, so that's pretty cool. And of course, you need an implement. What implement do you need? Well, of course, the Case IH 1030 14-foot long header. And now this header is not that expensive. It's only 18,000 euros, at least for what headers cost. Maintenance is only 40 euros a day. Operating speed, 10 miles an hour or 6 miles per hour. Working width is, again, 4.3 meters or 14 feet. And the crops that you can basically use with this header. Now remember, that harvester up there, you use a different header to use the other crops. But for this header, you can only do wheat, barley, I think that looks like soybeans, and then canola. So only those four. If you want to do sunflowers or corn, you need to use a different header or two different headers. But let's look at this, guys and gals. This is a Case IH 1455 XL, extra large. This is a tractor that is fairly inexpensive. It's only 102,000 euros. Maintenance is 260 a day. And so although that isn't cheap, it's on the less expensive side. I do want to remind you that you can rent all of these pieces of equipment if you don't have enough money. It's a way to use them, and then when you don't need them, poop, return them, and then you don't lose as much as spending 102,000. Maybe you spend a few thousand here and there depending on how much you use it. Power is 107 kilowatts and it produces 145 horsepower. Max speed is 40 kilometers an hour or 24 miles an hour. Fuel capacity is 240 liters, so of course not that much. You can add a front load attachment to this, which is really good. So this would be maybe a nice tractor for around your cows, or maybe even around your sheep or pigs, to do just stuff around with them. Maybe load in a bale or two and do some scooping, things like that. Not too taxing stuff. In terms of wheels, you can choose standard or wide wheels as well. And that's pretty cool, guys and gals. Now, what piece of equipment is attached to this? Well, you have the Kuhn Kultimer L300. Now, of course, this is a cultivator from what you can see. The price is $9,400, so almost 10,000 euros. Maintenance is really inexpensive, only 5 euros a day, so that's not bad. The required power is 88 kilowatts or 120 miles an hour, so the Case 1455 XL can definitely pull this. Operating speed is 17 kilometers an hour or 10 miles an hour when this implement is used. And the working width is 3 meters, which is also 9 feet. So that's pretty good. It's a good starting out. 2 pieces of equipment that are pretty much starting out for you when you start out the game. Alright, guys and gals, we're going to take a look at the last fact sheet, number 22. Fireworks for Giants. Congrats to them for releasing an awesome game, which I haven't played it. I've looked at a little bit of gameplay, and I can tell you guys and gals, I think it's going to be an amazing game from what I can see. Let's look at this lovely New Holland 8340. Now, this is a beautiful and wonderful tractor. It's very multi-purpose. It's very inexpensive. It's only 85,000 euros. That's really not expensive for basically a starting out tractor. This is pretty good. Maintenance is 200 euros a day, so it's not super inexpensive in terms of maintenance, but remember, you can always rent them, as I say, and return them when you're done if you need them for just a little bit to make some money. Power is 92 kilowatts and 125 horsepower. Max speed is 40 kilometers an hour, and it drives at 24 miles per hour in the US measurements. Fuel capacity is only 218 liters, not so much. However, you can add a front loader attacher, which is really good. Again, this would be a great tractor to use with your pigs, with your cows, just hauling a little bit of grass or hay or anything like that that you don't really need to pull anything heavy. Again, your wheel setup is also customizable. You can use standard or wide wheels. If you look down below, we do have a Great Plains sewing machine. It's called the 3P100 6NT. Again, it is fairly inexpensive, 15,000 euros. Now, it's a little more expensive than the previous one we've seen. But then again, maintenance is only 40 euros a day, which isn't that bad. Required power, you do need at least 74 kilowatts of power or 100 horsepower. You need both. You need to meet both of those requirements. Operating speed is 15 kilometers an hour when you're using this implement, or 9 miles an hour. Working width is only 3 meters, which is about 9 feet. Of course, 9 feet to us sounds a lot, but compared to the other stuff, it's not super big, but it does get the job done if you're just starting out. Tank capacity is 1,200 liters, so you can fill this up with different types of seeds. Filling, you could fill it up with, of course, there's different options down there, guys and gals. It's kind of hard to see, but I see everything from canola, wheat, barley. I do see soybean, I believe grass, and the last one I can't really know. But let me know, guys and gals, what do you think? Are you excited for all these pieces of equipment? Are you excited for the game? And if the game is already out by the time that you're watching this and you have it, let me know what you think about the game. Don't forget, guys and gals, be hopeful.